you've had this very long arc of a career, mostly on the advertising side.
Very long.
A little bit of PR agency in the early days. You escaped. You're a recovering agency person like I am. So I don't know about you, but I often take a look back. This is, I think, my 9th can. You've probably been to more.
24, I think.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What, just without overthinking it, what's going through your head? I mean, there's so much going on with technology. I can't walk past any panel without hearing AI. And look, 4 years ago, I started an AI platform and no one was talking about it. So how are you feeling? What's the ticker in Julie's head right now? If you could share.
I've been lucky enough this to serve. I served on the outdoor jury. I was a shortlisting juror, and I've heard the word creativity more than I have in recent years, and I haven't heard. I've been at conferences the last few weeks in New York and Utah and a few other places, Miami. And it became like a drinking game. Like every time someone said AI, they'd be like...
Or a swear jar. We'll see.
Yeah. So it's sort of the shiny new thing. But here, I mean, I know everyone's talking about it. It's informing every session and panel here. Every question is probably generated by AI.
Right.
But and every answer. So I feel like it's the thing right now, but I've been lucky enough to tune back into creativity. I went to the awards Monday night, the outdoor awards, along with pharma and healthcare and print and publishing. It was packed. And it was 2 hours of pure joy. Like people...
Humans.
They were so happy, the winners, that they were winning, and just to see, it's just so, after being separated for so long through the pandemic and stuff, to see big teams of people who've worked together on something and then get to be rewarded and enjoy it. And I don't know if you've ever been to one of those awards, but
I've been to a lot, not that one though, no.
Cannes Lions is famous for how they celebrate. The whole team gets on stage. They do funny things. They build pyramids of each other and whatever, and they shake this lion trophy and they roar like lions. I mean, it was so fun. It reminded me of like how fun agency life can be and how fun the industry really is. And creative is at the soul. That was a really long answer.
That's okay. That's okay. And the pivot to out of home, you're now in-house.
Yes,
You're in-house, out of home.
For out of home, exactly.
Right.
Well, it just so happened right at the start of the pandemic, Anna Bagger, who was a client of mine at IAB, is president and CEO of the Out of Home Association, OAAA. And she called me and she said, "We're out of home with a stay-at-home pandemic. We need you to help us write the industry recovery plan." I'm like, how am I going to do that? And I said, how long is this going to last? And she said, 3 months. That's when we all
thought that.
Yeah. So then it became 3.5 years, and I've always loved out of home, and she knew that from my agency days at Fallon and Leo Burnett. Leo Burnett, we were the biggest billboard company in the world. At Fallon, we did incredible stunts and really cool stuff with outdoor. And she knew I always have this, I'm a big champion of creativity. And so,
as long as it's not too funny out of home. God forbid there's a joke that could distract somebody, right?
The pedestrian lanes are fine, but when they're driving, no. But so it was really fun. And then I became interim CMO, and then she named me CMO, and it's been awesome. And I get to be the CMO for the whole industry.
That's
so
amazing.
It's really cool.
And how, just to go back to that swear word one more time, the 2-letter swear word, AI. Will AI impact out of home, and if so, how?
Yeah, well, we're already having to disclose on award entries if the creative idea was generated at all
or in partnership
AI.
with something,
Yeah, in fact, being a judge at Cannes, they have disclosure policies so that, and even the case studies, if the case study video has been generated by AI or the producing the supporting visuals, because when you judge, like, judging out of home, I thought was going to be so easy because a billboard, you have 1 to 3 seconds to make an impression.
Exactly.
It's reductionist. It's bold. It's got to be simple. It's got to be clear to
The
grab
bar is
people's-
very high as well
It's
because of all those things you
really-
just said.
It's really hard to create
Very
really
hard.
good out of home. So, but because of digital and digital out of home and the ability to change a static billboard that's up for a month or a year to 8 rotations, every minute, there's a whole new world of creativity, and you have the ability to build really rich narratives and almost episodic material. Like a lot of the entertainment studios in Hollywood use out of home, at bus shelters or transit. When you have captive audiences who can tune in almost, and very rich narratives, and when you're judging, you have to look at every piece that they've submitted, and it takes a while. It took really long,
Right.
And to judge.
And it's not like you're out in the field judging it, right?
Yeah,
You have
it
to
was all
be-
virtual.
Yeah.
And the festival does an amazing job with, we had anti-mitigating bias training. We had guidelines around cultural and stereotype fighting and
Yeah.
cultural biases.
Sensitivities,
It was really an enriching experience. It was really fun.
Do you think that the disclosure issue is short term? And I ask because I feel like a lot of it is based on a little bit of fear, and also because of data lineage and the metadata. And once we
Yes.
know the data, provenance, where it's coming from, and we have more assurance, and we feel more comfortable in terms of both it being factual, under fair use doctrine, not violating any copyrights, making sure
Right.
that it's equitable and all that, I believe, I could be wrong, that soon that will dissipate.
Yes, I agree. I think it will be assumed that almost everything that AI has a hand in it. We were laughing the other day. We were recruiting for a position, and I'm like, every single one of these notes, thank you note, introductory note, and we're starting to use it. I'm building a marketing department for the trade association, and we have to be very careful what we do. We have to be aware of legislative issues. We have to be aware of, member guidelines, and we can't overuse it. There still has to be a human touch, of course, in creativity. We know that. AI is never going to replace great creative minds and ideas, but
Or values or judgment.
yeah, but I think the use will be pretty much assumed. But I'm not loving it when we start promoting it, or creating promotions that are so obviously done by AI,
Right.
or a thank you note. Gave me great pleasure to make your formal acquaintance.
Yeah, it's so
the
awkward.
other Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah, right.
It's oh God.
Yeah.
Right. Speak English.
I often say I want generative AI to stay mediocre so we know, and there's
Yeah.
still a place for us, and I want predictive to actually get better.
Yes.
Right.
And
I
it
want to
will.
know.
The more you
I
feed
want to
it.
know who's in, how do I engage, which audience, what trend, what issue, what crisis to mitigate.
Yeah. But I'm fascinated with how it can improve, because we have a small team. We already see it increasing productivity, and I think we hear people like Shelley Palmer, who just says, "We all have to use this every day. We have to learn it. We have to get better at it. We have to get better at our jobs because people are afraid they're going to lose their jobs to AI." I'm not a total believer in that,
No.
but I think certain things will get replaced.
Do you think that if I told you I can create a Julie bot that can help you while you're working doing higher level thinking, it can help you do some of those more mundane, time-consuming things, you'd be like, hell yeah, I'm in, right? I
Of
want the
course.
Julie bot.
Yeah, I
Right.
need a Julie bot around Cannes to go to everything.
Someone said that the other day
So
because the
overprogrammed.
scheduling
I
is,
know.
and half the meetings either get canceled, pushed, or you know what it's like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's. I've been also just loving this year's festival because it's one big giant exhibition of out of home, and the out of home
That's
in
true.
the
I
past.
hadn't thought of it like that, but you're
Yeah,
absolutely
it
right.
really is. I mean, every beach in Cannes is taken with beautiful activations. Look where we are, Sport Beach. We
Shout out to Stagwell and Sport Beach.
Yep. We have shout out to Harris Poll, who I'm big fan of.
Same.
Harris Poll, because
Yeah.
in fact during the pandemic we had to prove that people were still going out of their homes and they were still being influenced by out of home and by advertising. They still had to go out to get their medication or their COVID
Right.
test or whatever, or
Or
their groceries.
groceries, yeah.
And we started this really productive partnership with Harris, and we have done annual, quarterly, omnibus studies, and have gotten great press, and our members love it. They can't get enough of.
Right. Well, it all
but
comes back
anyway.
to the data.
Yeah.
Right.
it's
Data
true.
drives everything.
Yeah.
Data drives creativity, drives strategy, drives everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And but it still needs that human touch. So we
Yeah.
keep saying AI and HI, human
I like that.
intelligence.
Can I license
Human-
that? I'll Venmo you.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
actually, I have to. It was a original quote by Anna Bagger,
Oh.
our fearless leader, who, and she says that now. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much, Julie.
That's
a pleasure.
it.
That's
Thank
it.
you so
Tight,
much.
very
It's
tight.
such a pleasure, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you.